everyone, I'm Catherine with Free Tours by Foot, and today I am at Newark Airport. Newark Airport is one of 3 major airports that serves the New York City area. Even though Newark is technically in New Jersey, it is a very popular option for travelers that are coming to visit New York City. Some of its popularity is due to the fact it is very easy to get into New York City from Newark Airport, and there are a lot of cities that offer direct flights into Newark Airport. So it is definitely one to look at and consider when you're planning your travel to New York City. As far as how to get from Newark into Manhattan, there are a lot of different options. You can take New Jersey Transit, you can take the PATH train, you can take a shuttle bus, you can take shared car service, you can of course take a taxi. We will go over all of the ins and outs of the various travel options, what some of the pros and cons of them are, and hopefully help you pick the very best option for your trip to New York City.
All of the information contained in this video can also be found on our blog post, which we will leave a link to in the description of this video. Be sure to also check out our videos on ground transportation from JFK and LaGuardia airports, as well as our video on how to navigate the New York City subway system. Links to these videos can be found in the description below.
So let's get started. One of the most popular ways to travel from Newark Airport and into Manhattan is to take the train, to take New Jersey Transit. In order to do that, you will want to follow the signs from baggage claim for the AirTrain, board the AirTrain, and take that to the very last stop, which is the rail station. The signage is very clear and very easy to follow. You do have the option to buy a train ticket before you board the AirTrain, but either way, you'll have to buy one before you exit the AirTrain because that's how you pay for that AirTrain ride. You don't have to buy a separate ticket. It's included in the price of your Jersey Transit ticket.
Purchasing a ticket is very easy. If you follow the signs for the AirTrain, you will inevitably walk past a ticket machine area. Just choose the language and your final destination, which for most people will be New York Penn Station. The price of the ticket includes the AirTrain and New Jersey Transit train rides, and you will need this ticket to exit the AirTrain system.
From there, you will just follow the signs for trains to New York City. The trains from Newark Airport into Manhattan, into Penn Station, which is at 34th Street, run very, very regularly. They do not run 24 hours. There aren't trains between 2 a.m. and 5 a.m. typically, but for the most part, any times that you'd be flying into Newark or airport, you're pretty well covered, especially if you're traveling during the day. Throughout most of the day, there are upwards of 6 trains an hour that are going into Penn Station. Now, if you come in very early in the morning or very late at night, there are fewer trains, typically more like 4 an hour. But still a pretty good option. And this will cost you, today this cost me $15.50. So it is by far one of the more affordable options for traveling from Newark Airport into Manhattan. The last stop on this line will be Penn Station. That's the terminus point. From there, if you're staying in Midtown Manhattan, you'll be very close by where you need to go. But you can also link up with a couple of different subway lines there at Penn Station. You can take the ACE or the 1, 2, and 3 trains. So pros of this, of course, it is very inexpensive, but also it's very quick. This option really only takes about a half hour to get right into Midtown Manhattan. So it is certainly one of the faster options available to you. The con is really that if you have a lot of luggage that you're traveling with, it can be difficult to maneuver. There are stairs and escalators that you'll need to navigate, and of course getting on and off the train itself, making sure you have a place to put your bag. Some of these trains can be very, very crowded. Something else I want to mention though is there is another option to get into New York City using New Jersey Transit, but rather than going all the way to Penn Station, rather only going one stop, which is Newark Penn Station, and transferring to the PATH train. If you're sitting there wondering why would you possibly do that instead of just going to Penn Station, there are actually a few reasons that you might want to consider this option. One of them is that the PATH train's first stops are actually going to be in Jersey City. Now, some travelers actually prefer staying in Jersey City, which can sometimes cut down on the cost of a hotel a little bit, and they actually use the PATH train every day to get into New York City and sightsee. So certainly if you're staying in Jersey City, this is a great option for you. But even if you're not, Sometimes if you're staying in lower Manhattan, this can be a better linkage. There are path stops in lower Manhattan, and you can also connect, depending on where your final destination is, through the Fulton Street Transit Hub, which has a number of subway lines and may provide a better linkage for you than Penn Station, for example, depending again on your final destination. But however you do it, whether you decide to take Jersey Transit straight to Penn, or if you want to get off at Newark Penn Station and switch to the PATH train, this is by far one of the best and cheapest options. The cons for the PATH option are really going to be exactly the same as they are for taking the train to Penn Station. If you're somebody with a lot of luggage, that's not always going to be the easiest option for you. But if cost and speed are your major drivers, this is a great thing to look into. Another option for transportation from Newark Airport into Manhattan is to take the Newark Express Bus. If you opt to take the Newark Express Bus, it's very easy to find. You will exit from baggage claim, like with most transit options, right out onto that level. Follow the signs for buses. At Terminal C, for example, at Newark Airport, which is where I am right now, the bus lane is actually just on the other side of where the taxi stand is, on the back side of the taxi stand. And there are specific signs, places to line up for specific bus companies. So you'll look for the sign that says the Newark Express Bus. These buses run not all day, but most of the day, from about 4 a.m. until 1 a.m. So you're really well covered throughout most of the day. Typically they run every 15 minutes, but if you are in the very early hours of the morning, or if you're very, very late at night, they might be more like every 30 minutes. This is a great option, especially if you're staying in Midtown Manhattan, because this drops off at Port Authority Bus Terminal. This goes to Bryant Park and to a stop right by Grand Central. So if you're staying in that Midtown area, it might be a really good transit option for you. This is a really inexpensive option. Cost of a ticket at the time that I'm recording this is $16 for a ticket, so very, very affordable. The pros of this are obviously the cost of it. It is one of the cheaper ways to get into New York City. As far as cons, there are a couple. One is that the time that it takes to get into Manhattan can really vary. You're obviously dependent on traffic with this option. So it can be anywhere from 40 to 60 minutes to get into Midtown. The other thing to know about this option is these buses can run late. So if you're on a tight schedule, if you're trying to get to something, this may not be the best option for you in terms of scheduling, but can be a really good and affordable option, again, particularly for those staying in Midtown. You can arrange to take shared shuttle service through a company like Super Shuttle from Newark Airport. You can either arrange this in advance online, or you can do it from right by baggage claim where I am right now. You'll just follow the signs towards ground transportation information. Once you get to the information or welcome center, from there you can ask an agent to help you call for one of these shuttle services. Now, the major pro of this is you're going to get the same door-to-door service that you will get if you are taking a taxi, but for a much cheaper cost. It can vary, but often you're going to see $20 to $25 per person. And this is a look at kind of the area you would go to in order to book something like that. This can be a great option if you're somebody that is traveling solo, you have a lot of luggage, you're maybe concerned about navigating your luggage through public transit, dealing with stairs and escalators and things like that. This does offer the same kind of door-to-door idea as a taxi, but it is going to be significantly cheaper. The con of a shared shuttle service is typically the time that it will take. If you don't book it in advance, or even if you do, they are going to wait until they have a full van of people before they leave, which is usually 11 people or as close to a full van as possible. So you may have to wait around here for a little while in order for them to have enough riders. The other thing to know is, yes, it is door to door like a taxi, but unlike a taxi, you could be the first person they drop off, or you could be the last person they drop off. So that can extend your travel time by quite a bit. So while it is a lot cheaper than a taxi option if cost is your primary driver and you have a lot of luggage, particularly if you're by yourself or maybe a couple traveling with a lot of luggage. Something I will point out is once you get to more than a few people traveling together, because of the cost per person with a shared shuttle service, often a taxi is going to end up being roughly the same price and maybe a better and faster option for you. But if budget is your primary concern, this can be a great option to look into. One of the options for traveling from Newark is to take a taxi. Now, if you do that, the taxi stands will always be located outside of baggage claim. So exit at the same level where you collected your bag if you checked a bag. If you didn't, just go ahead and follow the signs down to baggage claim anyway. And once you're outside, taxi stands at airports in New York City are typically very easy to spot. Just look for the yellow and black. In this case, this one is just across the street here, but you can head over to the crosswalk and you'll always see. So one of the things to know, and this actually applies to any airport in New York City, is this is one of the few times in New York where to get a cab, you are not going to just go out in the street and hail one yourself. That will always be done through a taxi stand at Newark Airport, just like the one that you see across the street here. Long line of taxis. You will go up to the dispatcher at the taxi stand and they'll take it from there. So let's talk pros and cons of taking a taxi from Newark Airport. The pro is definitely that this is by far the simplest way to travel from Newark Airport into New York City, the one that will require the very least of you. If you have a lot of luggage, if you've been on a long haul flight and you just don't want to deal with navigating transit, trains, subways, all of that, you can just get in a taxi, give the driver your final destination, and it will be door to door. The con of this option is it is by far the most expensive option, particularly because Newark Airport is just geographically a little further from Manhattan, but also unlike JFK, which is a flat fare to get into Manhattan, Newark is a regular metered fare, so it will, the cost of it really can creep up. It can be anywhere from $60 to sometimes $80 to get into Manhattan, so that is definitely something to keep in mind. If budget is your main concern with your travel options from Newark Airport, a taxi is probably not the right option for you. But if you are looking for convenience, you're looking for the very easiest thing for you, a taxi can be a great option. So hopefully this video has helped you navigate some of the various options for coming from Newark Airport into New York City. There are a lot of options available, so whether your priority is convenience or cost or speed, there is something available for you. Newark is a great option for travelers coming to New York. If you want some more information on any of the options that we've covered, make sure you check out our blog post from Free Tours by Foot about this very topic. There's a little more detail there and you can go look a bit further. But either way, we hope that you find the perfect option for you and that you enjoy your visit to New York City.